from the deep, dark hollers of Knott County, Kentucky, where the moonshine is strong, the stories are strange, and your neighbor is probably your cousin. This is Appalachia, not so quiet. Hey, welcome back everybody to the latest episode of Appalachia Not So Quiet. I am your host, Hillbilly Phantom, and as always, I am joined by my lovely wife and co-host,
Appalachian Shade.
So, Shade, sweetheart, we have an incredible episode in store for everyone tonight.
Yes, very exciting.
I'm extremely excited. This is going to be awesome. It's something that I didn't think I wanted necessarily to do. And being a newer podcast, I probably didn't think that we would be getting a guest of this caliber
Yeah.
on our show. Now, some people may not think that this is as awesome as I do.
Because you're nerdy.
Yeah, well, yeah, the nerdy aspect, and because I've always been a artist type. Everybody that knows me, you know that I enjoy drawing. I always have since I was a child. So this kind of falls into that category.
I mean, I'm a little nerdy excited as well.
Are you? Why are you nerdy excited?
And just the subject matter of the whole interview.
Oh, yeah, just what it has to do with. It's really cool. And I think everybody out there is going to be just as excited as we are by the time they finish this episode, because I think this is something that's needed. So we'll get right into it. Tonight, in the deep, dark hollers of Appalachia, we are joined by a very special guest, and anyone that likes our show is probably going to love what this guy's working on.
Yeah.
I think so. He is a professional animator who created the 2020 award-winning short film Tapped Out. He has worked for clients such as Netflix and Disney. I'm sure everybody knows those. He's worked on Lego Dreams, Firebuds, and Sonic Prime. Currently working on upcoming Disney Junior show Lightning Racers. He is the writer, director, and creator of a brand new animated project called Lunatic Fringe. And through a Kickstarter campaign, he is hoping to make a proof of concept trailer for the project. Mr. Logan Webb. Logan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
It is an honor.
Yeah.
I really respect you just because you're an animator. Because when I was in high school, I was always drawing, and I had aspirations of becoming comic book artist or working in animation for Disney or something.
Mm-hmm.
But my junior year, we did an animation project, and
Years and years ago when dinosaurs made animation
very
projects.
funny. But we borrowed all this equipment and everything, and I had to hand draw all these frames of animation, and it took us all year to make 11 seconds of footage.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That's when I decided I don't think I want to be an animator anymore.
Yeah, it's not as sort of, I don't know if glamorous is the right word, but like it looks cool when you're done with it, but then when people realize how long it took you to do, like you said, just a few seconds, they're like, wait a minute, you spent all this time on that?
Yeah. I finally got it to look like he's actually turning his head.
It raised his arm.
Yeah, no, it's tough. And yeah, I started out when I was in school, we started on 2D, so drawing everything by hand on paper and all that. And that's a whole different ball game from the computer stuff.
I guess most of the stuff you deal with now is like, 3D animation on computer.
Yeah. So it's like what I'm doing now, it's more like moving puppets, like 3D puppets, so you're still doing it all by hand, but you're not drawing anything.
Yeah, you're just rendering it on a computer.
Yeah. And so it's a totally separate skill set. You to be a really good 2D animator, you have to really know how to draw really well. And I was okay at it, but yeah, it's tough. It's just you and a pencil.
Yeah. I mean, my art always looked more comic book like because that's, I don't know, that was kind of my inspiration when I started drawing.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading Spider-Man and X-Men and all these comics. And so I would just draw those characters. So anything I drew always came out kind of comic book looking. I probably wouldn't have made it as an animator anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of the same way with drawing. I mean, like when I was in art school, we had to like draw people and statues and bowls of fruit and that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, I mean, drawing people is okay. I mean, that's important, but I'm like, I don't want to draw a bowl of fruit. I don't want to paint, like cubes and spheres and stuff. Never wanted to. I mean, it's important, and you got to know how to do that stuff if you want to be a good, artist, be able to render stuff. But yeah, I'm like you. I would rather draw cartoon stuff than realistic stuff.
I can just draw a stick person. So
well. Hey,
that's all I got.
It's something. It's a lot easier to animate a stick person. I can guarantee that.
Well, there's some cool like stick people animations and like little online games.
Yeah. I've seen a bunch of those on the TikToks and Facebook Reels and stuff. So anyway, you actually contacted us originally. You were just kind of wanting us to give you a shout out, say, hey, I have this project, Kickstarter campaign, go check it out, type of thing.
Right.
But after we kind of started reading about your project and learning more about it, I was like, man, this is really, really cool. We have got to get this guy on. We have got to talk to Mr. Logan Webb.
Well, yeah, I appreciate it. I when I'm at work, I'll listen to podcasts and things, and sometimes just let YouTube kind of take over and play stuff for me. And came across the podcast, and you guys were talking about some like cryptids and like local monsters and that kind of thing. And
yeah,
I was like, well, that's kind of cool. These people might be interested in this project, and maybe they're listeners. Because it's always it's tough to like to get the word out and find the right people who would be interested in such a thing. And so yeah, I think I emailed you guys in like the middle of the night or something. So I was just like, I wonder if I get a hold of these people.
Oh yeah.
I was happy. You guys got back to me so quick and can work everything out.
Absolutely. Why don't you kind of give us, I guess, start from when you decided to make this new project and kind of carry us through what you're up to now?
Yeah. So actually, I started thinking about this project a few years ago, and so I'm from Virginia originally, and when I graduated in 2020 from college, so COVID, and my first job, professional animation job, was actually in Vancouver, Canada. I mean, I'd never been west of like Nashville.
Yeah.
So I just got in the car and went all the way to Vancouver, Canada. And when I got there, Canada was even worse than the U.S. was in terms of like being shut down for COVID. So when I got there, I couldn't do anything. I was in like this tiny little apartment in the city and couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do anything. So I needed something besides work to kind of occupy my time. And so I started thinking about trying to come up with my own stories, because that was something I always liked to do, to come up with characters and write little stories and things like that. And I don't know, I started thinking about what a story could be, what would be an interesting character. And I always liked monsters and cryptids and things like that. So I started thinking about it, and I was like, I don't know if there really has been anything, certainly not animated, that I know of, that has cryptids together in one story. Like there's a few Bigfoot movies, and I guess there's like the Mothman Prophecies. That's kind of like a Mothman movie. I mean, it is a Mothman movie, but you know what I mean.
You don't really see much of him in it.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, that seems cool. That seems like a starting point of these characters that seem largely sort of unexplored in terms of them being characters as opposed to, monsters that, you don't really see, or they're sort of, you don't know what they want or what they're doing. They're just sort of in dark places scaring people or something.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the starting point. So I just started putting together like a little document of who the characters might be, what they might want, all that kind of stuff. And as I was putting it together, because originally I thought maybe I would make like a short film or something. I didn't know. But as I was going with it, I was just kind of started thinking, well, maybe this could be bigger than a 5-minute thing or something like that. And I'd never written like a full length movie. So I I don't know, one day I just decided that I was going to do that with these characters. And so then I spent a lot of time like developing an outline and reading some books and things about how to write a screenplay, because there's a specific way you got to do that. And so I spent a lot of time just planning that, and then I didn't really start working on building the characters in the computers, like sculpting them and rigging them so they can move and stuff like that, until pretty recently. I started a little bit last year. This has been a slow process too. Anybody who, if you know anything about doing 3D stuff, it takes forever, like we talked
Yeah.
about. But yeah, I started like late last year, early this year, started just kind of reaching out to some people. Like I've teamed up with a guy now who he's from Pixar, who does like texture and fur. So like we've spent since last June, we've been working on Bigfoot, like creating all his fur, all the texture.
Wow.
Yeah. He started in, I think, last June or July, working
Holy
on
cow.
Bigfoot's fur coat. And
Just for the fur. That's crazy,
yeah,
man.
it's a whole thing. And like I went to the West Virginia Bigfoot Festival last year, and I'm kind of trying to pitch this idea to people. And at the time, I just had some drawings that I had done, and I had a couple of not finished but close to finished models. So I had like some images of like the Bigfoot model, but he didn't have fur. Like he had like kind of sculpted geometry that kind of suggested fur, but it's not like individual strands of hair and stuff like that. Yeah, I think the last time I heard, he's got like 2 million hairs now.
Oh, jeez.
And like, and so this guy, I mean, he's a wizard. He's doing stuff that I couldn't even begin to do. I did very basic, they call it grooming, fur grooming in college, and it's crazy. So he's doing that. We've found a girl who's doing the rigging, so she's building like the skeleton systems inside the characters, so they have bones and stuff they can move. So that's like a whole other job she's doing.
That's so
Um,
cool.
yeah, it is cool, but man, it's a slow process, because like I
Oh, yeah.
was telling people about this in June, and everybody's like, "Great, when are we going to see it?" And I'm like, "Well, it's going to be a while."
It might be a while.
Anyway, that was a long-winded answer, and I'm getting off track. But yeah, so anyway, this idea has been percolating in my head for a few years, and I've written several versions of the script. I'm still, trying to think of ways I could improve it or make it better. But as of right now, I've got a 110-page script, which is it's actually a little long for an animated movie, but it's kind of standard for movie length script. And we're working hard to get this stuff done. We're almost finished with our very first character, and like we have the rig, and we're almost have the fur finished on the Fresno Nightcrawler.
Fresno Nightcrawler. I don't know that I've ever heard of this cryptid. Is this an actual cryptid?
Yeah, so this is I think it first was online in like 2007 or something like that. It's like a little two-legged white monster.
Okay. I know what those are.
And it's basically, we started working on Bigfoot first and realized, okay, this is going to take a long time. So then we kind of, in between working on Bigfoot, we started working on this simpler character. So we're hoping we can show that to people soon, so they can see it move, see the fur, see like the effects of gravity and movement on the fur. So like all that stuff will move like in the wind and all this kind of stuff. So we're kind of using him as like our little test subject to kind of, because Jackson is the guy who's doing all the fur, and he's like building his own like system to build the fur coats on all these creatures. And so this
has to build a special computer just to handle it all.
Yeah, he's got a crazy computer just to like render this stuff. And we're kind of using the simple like Fresno Nightcrawler as like our test dummy to like learn what we need to learn to be able to do Bigfoot, because he's very complicated to try to do.
Yeah, Bigfoot will probably be, I'd say, the most complicated character, and he's going to be the center of the story as well, I think.
Yeah, he's our main character, and yeah, in terms of the fur, I mean, he definitely has the most. I mean, all the things you have to think about in terms of like basically getting the physics right of like how the hair is affected by gravity, movement. Like the hairs not intersect, but they don't intersect with each other or with the skin, or like if something touches them, it has to interact with all that. So there's a lot of things that go into it, and yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's already crazy looking. Like we're trying to wait till it's finished before we show it, to people and put it out there.
Yeah.
And hopefully people appreciate it. I know, like, we're all kind of used to seeing like trailers and movies from like Disney and Pixar, and it's $100 million movie that took 5 or 6 years to make it, and
Yeah.
it's like if you watch like Monsters Inc. or something. I mean, that's kind of an old movie now, but something like that. People don't don't really appreciate in some ways like how much work it takes to make stuff
Right.
like that. So the fact that we're like 3 or 4 people doing all this stuff is pretty crazy. So hopefully when we put it out there, people are can appreciate how much
Oh,
effort's going
I
into it.
I think they absolutely will. I mean, you really have like an all-star team of people working on this. I mean, they've worked on all kinds of big projects, so they obviously know what they're doing.
When you create the character as you are working on it, you have to make it again and again, or that's the one you use for the entirety of the animation. You don't have to create him again. Like you can just move him like a puppet, like you said, throughout all the slides.
Yeah, so we don't have to make it like every frame per se. So like when we have the puppet, like we have it forever. So like we can like if you do like a pose on frame one, then on frame two, you take the puppet and you move it into a different position,
Yeah.
and then you string that along, and then it moves. So it's not like you have to like make a new character like for every frame, but
Okay.
if there are like if I'm animating something and like you move it a certain way, and then the geometry of the model maybe gets like twisted or pinched or something because it needs to be kind of tweaked, then the rigger would then go back and kind of iron out those little problems and things and then update it. And so then there's like a whole art to like if you have something where there's an issue, like fixing the issue without breaking anything else. Like that's
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like because that's one of those things where it's really like sometimes you fix one thing and then you break like 10 other things in
Yeah.
the process.
That's the way it always goes.
But yeah, once we have the character built, we'll have him forever, and he or she forever.
Yeah. So it's it's kind of like claymation, but on computers.
Okay.
So they,
Yeah, kind
yeah,
of.
they
So
just
yeah,
take
like
it, move it around.
so I don't know if you guys have ever seen like a program called ZBrush, but like you literally will take like a sphere, like a lump of I don't know, you can see my hands like of digital clay, and then like you'll push and pull it, like sculpt it in the computer
Oh, okay.
to make the character. So it's always kind of weird to talk about because it's like it's digital, but it behaves so much like a real 3 dimensional. Well, it is 3 dimensional, but it's just it's digital. I don't know. It's hard to
Right.
describe it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, I get what you're saying, but yeah,
yeah,
that's just weird that we went from hand drawn stuff when I was a kid to now you can get on a computer and make these incredible animations.
yeah. It's pretty crazy. I mean, all the people that have come before, like especially Pixar in the '90s, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
like
Pixar
developing
that
all
was
this
huge.
stuff.
That was the first big computer generated animated film, so it just blew everybody's mind that they could
Yeah,
make stuff look that 3D and realistic.
yeah, it's crazy stuff, and I mean, I'm definitely grateful to come into it at this stage where lots of things already exist that I can learn, as opposed to the people back then who had to like invent the
Yeah,
whole system, to make it work. So
that's
I'm
pretty
glad
great.
I'm
And
not one of those people because I'm not super computer savvy. Like, I mean, if that I know people maybe that's weird to people, but like it's very much I'm very much more into the artistic stuff than like the technical
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, more of the artistic side. Yeah.
So yeah, the fact that that's it's more artistic now and less technical in some ways, I definitely appreciate that.
So I wanted to ask you, what kind of like age group are you kind of shooting for with this? Is this more leaning towards like a children's animation, or is this more like an adult animation?
So it's somewhere in the middle. So it's not strictly for adults, but it's not necessarily for like really little kids.
It's like PG
Um,
13.
yeah, kind of PG-13
Okay.
is sort of what we're going for. I mean, it's not like it's been rated by somebody, at this point, but like it's a totally different thing. But we kind of keep going back to like Pirates of the Caribbean kind of, or a movie like that where there can be fighting and like somebody might have a drink or something like that.
Right.
But you can still, if you're of a reasonable age, you can go see that and not be terrified.
Yeah. Okay. Well, with cryptids, you can kind of go any way there. You can have nice, friendly cryptids that are heroes trying to save the day, or they can be big, scary monsters that we are barely keeping under control and might eat us.
Yeah, so it's trying to think of what would a good movie be to compare it to, but yeah, there's definitely some parts that are a little scary. The bad guys are bad. They can be a little scary. I mean, some of the cryptids, some are scarier than others.
So you're gonna have like bad guy cryptids.
Well, so there is. So the basic premise of the story, an alien escapes from Area 51, and so the government basically takes these cryptids, this sort of mishmash, and says, "Okay, we're going to take these guys and we're going to send them out to try to get this thing back." And it's a powerful alien. So that's kind of the basic idea. And so we haven't told the world about all the different creatures and things in the movie, but
well, some of it's got to be
there's a lot of things, and there's lots of creatures in this thing. Yeah, some are definitely scarier than others. I can say that, I guess.
Okay, all right, good deal. Now we actually did find. Well, I say we, but it was actually Shade. Found there was a cartoon back it ran from 2008 to 2010 that had cryptids in it.
What was it? Do you know what it was called?
It was called The Secret Saturdays. It ran on Cartoon Network for 2 seasons, and that was it. And as far as I could tell from my looking at it, it didn't really involve a whole lot of actual cryptids. Most of them seemed like made up for the show or whatever.
Oh, gotcha.
And it mostly focused on this family that was like cryptozoologists.
Yeah, I did. I have seen this. I just looked at it on my phone.
Okay.
It wasn't
I
very
don't know
good.
too much about this, but yeah, I remember seeing this artwork.
It wasn't very good.
Yeah, we watched the first episode, and I was like, this isn't that great. I can see why it only went 2 seasons.
I think, part of why I wanted to work on this stuff is because most, like, in terms of shows and movies and stuff, most cryptid stuff is not that great.
Yeah, that's the problem.
In terms of, like, there's lots of Bigfoot movies where it's like a monster movie.
Yeah.
And then there's been a couple of animated things like Harry and the Hendersons. Harry and the Hendersons I like.
Yeah, that was more of the friendly Sasquatch.
Yeah, but like in terms of the animated movies, I don't know, it just never quite did it for me,
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping we can make something that people who are fans of these things, Bigfoot and Mothman and Jersey Devil and all this kind of stuff, can feel like it's doing these things justice in a way that maybe hasn't been done before.
Yeah, well, that would be fantastic, because I mean, there's more and more people that are seeing these things, that are reporting these things. More people coming forward that 10 years ago, I actually did see one of these things, but I've been afraid to tell anybody because they would think I'm crazy.
Right.
Is that the giraffe possum?
Yeah, like the giraffe possum.
And
I never told anybody about the Kentucky giraffe possum encounter that I had, apparently.
Because you guys talked about that on one of your episodes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was like, because I remember, hearing about it. I'm like,
more like a hyena.
It sounded so weird, and I laughed about it the whole time she talked about it. But it turns out when we read more about it in a book, it's also known as a Kentucky hyena. And I swear I saw a hyena on a highway in Breathitt County, Kentucky. And I thought I was crazy, but maybe I just saw a giraffe possum.
Kentucky's got plenty of cryptids.
Yeah. Well, this is a great question. Since you're from Appalachia and you have this cryptid project you're working on, was there an encounter or anything that led you to be interested in Bigfoot and things?
No, I haven't seen anything. People, when I was at the festival, everybody wanted to know that, and I was like, it's like everybody there like has their story, and I was like, no, I would wish I could see Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't like gone out looking for Bigfoot. To be fair, so I haven't seen anything. So interest in this kind of stuff. I think a lot of it came when I was younger. Like I watched a lot of like History Channel stuff, and lots of like they would have documentaries on Bigfoot and Mothman and like history of certain monsters and things. And so I think that's like when I was a kid, that's where a lot of that, interest kind of came from, and just loving, monsters, monster movies, werewolves, vampires, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I haven't seen anything. I wish I would. I've been through lots of places. So when I was working on this script, I went to lots of places that are in the script and that have history of cryptids and aliens and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I've been like through Roswell and outside Area 51, and went through like Point Pleasant and around in West Virginia where Mothman is, and went down like to Arkansas, like through Boggy Creek, where like the Boggy Creek, movie was based on. And so I've been all over the place.
That's cool.
But that's more like kind of researching like the places more than like actually like trying to find the stuff that lives there, or whatever. So I've been to places where, people have sworn they've seen stuff. I've talked to some people who, that don't seem like they're totally out of their mind, who, have seen Bigfoot or Mothman or these things that they don't have an explanation.
So, I mean, people that have had experiences, they're not crazy people. So there has to be something to their experience.
Yeah, I like at the Bigfoot festival. I keep going back to that. That was the first festival I went to.
Yeah,
the Bigfoot thing, and lots of people were talking about things they had seen or encountered, and like what we said, it's not. At least I feel like you can tell the difference between people who are maybe just like totally making something up, or they're just totally crazy, versus just an ordinary person who's like, yeah, I don't know what this was, but this is what I saw, and I think it was this, but yeah, there's a lot of people all over, not just in the United States, but all over the world, who claim to see things that can't be explained. And I think even now with like there's all this talk about like releasing UFO files and all this kind of stuff, like even from the government, and whether they'll do that or not, I don't know. But it's even from places that typically, or at least historically, have kind of just brushed that off as nothing. Have kind of said, oh yeah, we're going to start looking at this stuff, and yeah, there's things we can't explain, and I don't know, but it's an interesting time to kind of be watching all this stuff.
Yeah, it definitely is. We've been anticipating the drop of the UFO files.
I need to know so I can sleep better at night.
Yeah. Shade has an alien issue.
Yeah, I know. Like the other day, I saw that they were like, "Oh yeah, we're going to release these UFO docs," and so I'm like you are. I'm like, okay, well, what do you got?
Yeah, where are they?
I don't even know. Like whatever the government like shows you. Like I don't even know. Like is that real? Is that curated?
Yeah. You really believe it or not?
I don't know, but yeah, it's all weird. And I saw like the other day they started talking about we're going to build like a base on the moon, and they want to have like a permanent moon base, and I'm like, going, okay, this is I don't know, just weird stuff going on.
Yeah. It's an amazing time to be alive. It really is. So once again, you're from Appalachia, so no cryptid experience, but on this show, we talk about all of the weird things that go on around Appalachia. Have you ever had any kind of experience that you might consider paranormal?
I have not. I know people who I know personally who have told me things that they swear, was like a ghost or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything. I know like my grandparents on my mom's side of the family talked about like things in their house happening they couldn't explain, and even like my parents have talked about, this was before I was born, but they were all in the basement of this house, and they would hear like somebody walking upstairs, and this, I mean, it's a small town in Virginia, so this is the kind of thing where if it was like their friends, they would just come in, I guess.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. So like they would, like I remember my dad telling me, he would go upstairs to be like, oh, someone's here, let's go see who just came over, and go upstairs and there's nobody there. But then go back downstairs and you hear, a door open, people walk around, stuff like that. And so I don't know. I haven't personally experienced that, but I know plenty of people who have, like I said, just swear by, something they can't explain, whatever it is, noises, sometimes smells, like smelling like things being like chocolate and things being baked like in the house, and
yeah.
like
Yeah.
apparently somebody who lived there before that they used to bake all the time, and then stuff like
Yeah.
that.
That's
So
great.
I don't know. But yeah, I think even like my whole life I've been around people who have sworn by stuff like that. So I haven't.
I mean, if you're from Appalachia, you're going to hear these stories because
Yeah.
we talk about how our grandparents used to discuss haints and boogers. These
Yeah.
these ghosts and shadows and creatures and things that would follow them around in the woods and try to get into their homes. It's a pretty crazy place to live.
Yeah, like you said, spooks and haints. You always hear about stuff like that. It's funny. I'm still I'm up in Canada working now, and so it's like words like
Oh,
spooks.
you're in Canada right now?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know you were joining us internationally.
yeah, I was in Virginia for a while, like pretty much most of last year, and then I started a new job in January, so I moved back up here. But yeah, I was just gonna say, people in Canada like certain words that I like know what are and would use. Like people up here have no idea what you're talking about, So
Yeah, that's usually the case. The further north you go, the less people understand you when you're from around this area.
yeah, I know. Like once you start getting out west and stuff, you definitely can tell you're not home anymore, and like once you get past like Nashville, I know like when I've done these trips up to Canada, I'm like, well, this is going to be like the last night I can have sweet tea before I have to, like just whatever, make it from scratch in my apartment.
Yeah, gotta have that last little taste of home.
Yeah,
Probably won't find it up there.
gotta get like sweet tea and biscuits and gravy before I, don't have it for a year. Well, I can do sweet tea. I don't know. I've never tried biscuits and gravy.
So let's get back on your project because
Okay.
I think it's pretty awesome, and I expect it to go somewhere once you have the full movie going out. But I'm looking in the future beyond the movie.
You probably haven't thought this far ahead.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. So,
but me and her kind of both had this idea of, kind of seeing where it could possibly be.
Do you like see in the future maybe making a series out of it, like a weekly, cartoon on Saturday morning, and use like different cryptids? Because, like I said, there's tons of cryptids, and you can just make different storylines and stuff.
Yeah, there's so many
Eventually.
cryptids out there.
Yeah. So, well, I have. When I say I've thought about it, I just mean sort of like kind of mulling over some stuff in my own head
Yeah.
about So there's like the main focus is like this project, but then I think, okay, well, if this was really successful, then what would happen after that? Which is, it's already like, if this thing is successful, like that would be like mind blowing as it is. But
Right.
I have sort of thought about things like you said, like could there be a show or something, a longer form thing where you could have different creatures and things like that. I haven't started writing it. I've started sort of planning in the very early planning stages of a sequel, just for a script, kind of what could happen next kind of a thing.
You're going to leave us with one of those cliffhangers.
Well, so
everybody goes, oh, there's going to be a part 2.
Like I'm being extra nerdy with this and envisioning you having like the way Marvel does it, just breaks off into different characters and has different movies and
she foresaw a whole universe for you.
That would, if somebody wants to give me the money to do that, that would be great.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely going to help you promote your movie and make it successful. So maybe you can expand out into all that.
Yeah, we'll run 100% be following along with your project and keeping people updated because it's pretty awesome.
I appreciate it. We I think once we're getting close to being able to show people the 3D renders and some of these characters, and I think once we are able to start putting some of that out there and people can really see it, I think that'll help a lot because like when I first started and even now I've got like drawings of things, and like at the Bigfoot Festival, like people would come by and I would show them a drawing and I'm like, okay, now imagine this, but it's going to be like 3D and like really cool. And some people can imagine that, and some people are like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, any help we can get, spreading the word, we definitely appreciate it. Because it's not easy to get the word out and get like, I'm on social media, mostly just like Instagram, but even that, I'm not a big social media guy. Like I guess I have to become one now, but yeah, it's tough to spread the word about stuff and all that. So I appreciate all the help I can get.
And if you're looking for a couple more Bigfoot festivals, in May at the Red River Gorge in Kentucky, there's a Bigfoot festival. And also in Owensboro, Kentucky, I think it's in September, there is a Bigfoot festival as well. So
Okay. I
somewhere you
know.
might be able to go promote.
Yeah, a couple of nights ago, me and Jackson, we were up late talking about this nightcrawler thing we're working on, and I started putting together like a list of all the festivals because we've kind of talked about what would it be like if we get some of this stuff done, and if there was things like if we could just make T-shirts and coffee mugs and some things like that, promotional stuff, and be able to go
Mhm.
go to festival and promote this thing, and like do like a proper festival run of promoting what we're doing. So we're both like he's in California right now, but we both like the idea of just going to all these things if we can. So yeah, that would be great. I mean, I had a lot of fun at the Bigfoot Festival in West Virginia. So yeah, if I could take like a year and just go to like 2 or 3 of these things a month or something, I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
If I
that'd
could
be a
afford
great promotion too. Yeah.
Yeah. At the Bigfoot festival, it was a little tough because there was no internet. There's like some kind of problem with the internet. I would be like,
Oh,
everybody, like sign up for the email list and the this and that, and then like nobody on their phones didn't work, and so they'd be like, "Oh, I'll do it when I get home, I promise." And then like,
At rural Appalachia. So
yeah, yeah. Actually, I met.
you might want to take Starlink with you so that they can
Yeah, I was gonna say
access their internet there.
I met a girl and her husband who had a Starlink thing that they took with them, so they had internet at their spot.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, how much does it cost to like have this little Starlink box? Because maybe it'd be worth it to carry this thing around so I have internet.
yeah, that'd be definitely be worth it.
But yeah, they did. I was like, oh man, I didn't. I mean, I guess I knew it was a thing, but I didn't. It's like it's one of those things is out there, but you never see somebody like using it.
Yeah.
And you do. I'm like, oh man, okay. So apparently it worked.
So selfless self promotion time. How about you give out any way that people can contact you or how they can help promote or give to this Kickstarter to try to help you out?
So the Kickstarter is not live yet. So the most important thing right now, it's what they call a pre-launch page. So if you go onto Kickstarter and you just search Lunatic Fringe, it should pop up.
Okay.
And then you can click notify me at launch. And so if you click that, you'll follow along so we can send out updates. And when we send out an update, everybody that's following will get that update. And then when we actually go live, you'll get an email update saying, we're live, so you can actually, send money or share it around or whatever. We're taking our time with that because I have never done a Kickstarter, so I'm learning all this stuff. But I was gonna launch it last year, and then everybody online was like, "Well, if you don't have people following the project when you launch, nobody's gonna know it exists, so it's not gonna work."
Right.
So I'm like, okay. So now we're kind of step back and we're just leaving it on pre-launch as we add more stuff to it, and we'll have like 3D renders and some little animation tests and stuff to show people. But if people will just follow along for right now, that'll help give us a gauge of how many people potentially might send in money, so we can kind of guess at what point we would be ready to actually launch the thing.
Okay. So there's no like set date or anything yet to go live. It's just as soon as you think you've kind of got everything in place to do it.
Yeah, there's not a set date. I was going to do it last year with the Bigfoot Festival, and then we had issues with the Kickstarter, and then there was no internet, so we didn't do it because it just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not a set date right now. So I was going to launch it, and then when I didn't, I was kind of disappointed. But then I thought, well, maybe this is a blessing in disguise because the project's approved, so I can launch it whenever I want. But yeah, we're just going to try to build the momentum up and build the following up so we have the best chance of success possible. Because with Kickstarter, once you start it, you've only got so many days to meet your goal. So we've got like a month basically to try to meet the goal. And if you don't, then nobody gets charged, and so there's no money raised.
No,
so
nobody
you only
gets
get charged.
anything.
Yeah. Which is good. You don't get charged for no reason, but there's pressure to make it work, within a short time period. But yeah, if people want to just go to Kickstarter.com and look up Lunatic Fringe, they should be able to find it. And also just on my website is Logan Webb Animation.com. I've got some artwork and some little like the synopsis and some information on there. And you can sign up for emails there too if you want to email updates separate from the Kickstarter. But yeah, that's the two main things. I guess I've got Logan Webb Animation on Instagram too, if anybody wants to follow me there. And Lunatic Fringe has a Instagram page too. And if you follow me, you should be able to find it. So like my page has stuff about the film, plus I'll just post like clips and stuff I've animated on different shows and stuff. So if you're just interested in animation, you maybe check out some of that stuff if you want.
I definitely recommend everybody check out the short film Tapped Out. We watched that and it is fantastic.
Well,
I
I appreciate it. Well, I will say, so that was my thesis in college. So like the school I went to, everybody has to make a short film to graduate. And so I made that. I was solo, so that's all me. As I appreciate that you guys like it, but I will say that what we're doing now, especially because I have some help from people who know how to do things I don't know how to do, it's going to be a much higher level quality than that. So just that's my little PSA for the short film.
Like I said, she created an entire universe for your series before she'd even met you. So.
There's at least 100 cryptids in Kentucky, so I mean, you got plenty to work with.
Yeah, she comes to me and she's like, "I'm foreseeing like a giraffe possum episode, and meth hog episode."
Yeah, like I remember, I can't remember what it was called exactly, but there was like after Lilo and Stitch came out, there was a Lilo and Stitch TV show where they had like every episode was like go capture an alien or whatever it was.
Yeah,
I mean that's like more of a little kid thing, but yeah, I've had similar ideas. Yeah, it's easy to sort of start thinking about all the possibilities out there, which is good. There's lots of things to pull from, so
yeah,
there's no shortage.
I mean that's the thing. A lot of these animated movies, they seem to end up becoming like TV shows and stuff. It would be really cool. It'd be fantastic to see that happen for you.
Yeah, I'm well, if anybody, if any studio out there wants to make this a thing, a proper thing, then hit me up.
We'll shop this interview around as much as we can.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Like I said, I really appreciate all the help and all the support and all the nice things you've said. Really means a lot. So
absolutely, man.
I'll pass that along to the other people helping me out. I'm sure they'll appreciate hearing it too.
Yeah. Give them our blessing. We really want to see this project go. It looks just awesome.
Well, I appreciate it. We do too. We're working hard, slowly but surely. But I think it's going to start picking up soon because we're getting close to having a couple characters finished. We could start showing people. So I think once people can see it and see the quality and everything, I think they'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. We're definitely excited to see it. Yeah. So just one more question.
Okay.
We skipped aliens.
Okay.
Any UFO sightings or anything?
No, I haven't seen any UFOs. I mean, when I went out to Roswell and around Area 51, for anybody who's been out there, like especially around Area 51, there's nothing there. It's a desert. Like you'll see signs that like Area 51 is like 2 miles that way, and there's like mountains that kind of surround it, and you're just in the desert, and it's real sort of creepy and weird. I mean, like I said, being from the Blue Ridge Mountains, going to a desert is super weird because you're used to being very, very green. And
I can imagine. I've not been to a desert, so yeah, I can imagine it's pretty weird.
Yeah, it's it's kind of cool, but I mean, it's kind of we used to go to Myrtle Beach on vacation all the time, so it's kind of like going to the beach except there's no water and there's no trees, and it's hot and sandy, but like okay. But yeah, when I was out there, you just kind of look up and be like, okay, like let something zip by or something. But
hoping to see something.
Yeah, I never saw anything. But there's people there too that swear they've seen UFOs and stuff.
Oh yeah, UFOs are a big one. I think more people have probably seen UFOs than Sasquatch. I would think, but maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe
a lot of people keep quiet because they're afraid people are going to think they're crazy.
Yeah, I think that part's starting to get a little better as time goes on. Because I know there's been certain things where like 50 or 60 people will see it. We'll see. Like,
there's more and more of that happening.
Hopefully people feel like they can, if they see something, they feel like they can talk about it. But waiting on these UFO docs, I want to see if they actually release something, or I don't know.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait to see if there's maybe some reports on alien life forms that they've recovered or something. That would be great. They keep saying that they don't have anything like that, but they do. I know they do.
Well, Yeah, well, I don't know, these things they talk about if they, if they recover some kind of craft or material that's not human, as well, okay, well, what is it then? I
Yeah.
mean, it, it's got to be
Yeah.
something.
And they
Uh,
always give some crazy explanation, some
yeah, it's
goofy
always a weather
explanation.
balloon or a
Yeah.
training exercise or whatever.
Well, Logan, thank you so much for coming on the show. I think this is something that I never knew I wanted to do is interview an animator.
Wasn't on our bucket list.
Well,
Pretty
I
awesome.
appreciate it. I appreciate you guys getting back to me so quick and having me on and all the things.
Oh yeah, we're trying to do more of this stuff. There's a lot of people out there that are wanting to collaborate and talk about these cryptids and things, and people just want to promote things. They've got some kind of project they're working on. They just want to talk about it. So
Mhm.
we're
Yeah,
more than happy to be the ones that let them come on and talk about their projects.
yeah. Well, I'm sure that they'll like at the festival and stuff. There's lots of people that have all kinds of things, projects they're working on, and books and artwork and all this stuff. So I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who'd like to come on and talk about stuff.
Yeah, of course we like having people on that have stories to share of paranormal encounters. I know you've never had any, but I'm hoping maybe one day you might see a little something in the sky or maybe a shadow peeking around the corner at you or something, and you'll come back to Appalachia not so quiet and be like, "Hey, I finally saw something."
At least go Bigfoot hunting and you can tell us what
Yeah,
it is.
I think it'd be great if you could get a real Bigfoot to put up against your animated.
Yeah, that would. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, as cool as it would be to see one, I think it'd probably be also equally terrifying.
Yeah, I would probably be completely terrified if I saw a Sasquatch.
Yeah, I mean, I remember went to a zoo in Seattle. They had a big male orangutan there, and he was like in the trees. You can really see him, and then like he reached his hand out like really big and grabbed something, and that's relatively small ape, and I'm
Yeah.
like and that was you're kind of like whoa, that's kind of crazy to see that. So yeah, there's something that's like 8 feet tall or something.
Oh yeah. Be very terrifying. Okay, Logan, we're going to let you go. Thank you so much again for coming on. And
Okay,
everybody out there, be sure to check out Lunatic Fringe. You can find it on Instagram, on Logan Webb's Instagram, and it has its own Instagram. And definitely go to the Kickstarter and get signed up so that you can be updated for when they go live. Logan, we hope to talk to you again soon. Thank you, my friend.
sounds good. Thank you guys.
Wow. Well, there you go. There you have it. Logan Webb, ladies and gentlemen, animator extraordinaire.
And us having to keep that a secret.
Yeah, it was really hard to keep this a secret. We wanted to tell everybody because we were so excited.
But I've been dropping subtle hints all week on Facebook.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah. She's been doing the little Facebook posts with the cartoon, the old school cartoons, Scooby Doo, Ghostbusters, things of that nature, kind of dropping that hint, spooky related animations.
And like you said, there's probably not going to be nothing like it. So,
yeah, I almost guarantee it. I did mention to him that we found that one random cartoon
and it sucked.
that ran for 2 seasons, but that's the only thing even close, and it's not really even along the same lines as what he's
and
done.
it was made back years ago, so all the technology has advanced, so it's just going to be incredible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was kind of a chosen style, I guess, for that time period.
Yeah.
There were several cartoons that had that same kind of look. But yeah, the show itself, it just didn't have a lot of substance to it. They should have focused more on the cryptids and had like more actual cryptids and things.
Mhm.
That would have been a lot cooler. But I knew just as soon as Logan contacted us and we looked at Lunatic Fringe, I was like, man, this is right up our alley.
Yeah.
This is stuff that our listeners out there are really going to enjoy too. I think a cryptid project where it's not, like Logan said, Bigfoot killing people, where it's maybe more of a story of
him being a superhero.
of Bigfoot kind of being a hero and kind of developing the character, giving him a personality beyond just some strange, crazed creature that lives out in the woods and attacks people from time to time.
Yeah, knocks on the trees.
Yeah, knocks on trees and howls in the night, or at least explore the reasons why he does those things. So this was just an incredible experience. I'm over the moon being able to talk to somebody who is animated on these really big projects. I mean, working for Disney and Netflix and stuff, that's a big deal, man. That's
Sonic and the
yeah,
cars.
Sonic. Our youngest, as soon as we said that this guy worked on Sonic Prime, he was like, "Oh yeah, that's the new one on Netflix. I've watched that one."
And then our oldest is like, "Oh, I'm a queen."
Yeah,
Like obsessed from
right.
birth.
They
he
love
was.
that stuff, and yeah, we got to talk to a guy who was involved with it, so it's just really cool. And some of his team members, I mean, they've been involved in all kinds of big projects. The one of the guys was part of the group that made the Disney movie Elio, and
Yeah, it's
and the
new.
new movie coming out, Hoppers. That another one of them worked on Top Gun Maverick. Talk about big deal Hollywood blockbuster. He's got some good company. I think they're
Definitely got a
gonna
superstar team.
yeah, they're gonna make something really, really incredible, I do believe, if they can get enough people behind it. And we are 100% behind you, Logan Webb.
And of course, we can't show you, but we can talk about what he kind of showed us behind the scenes after the interview.
Yeah, he did show us a little bit of the animation work that they had been working on. Kind of showed us the little model for the Bigfoot character.
Fresno Nightcrawler.
And yeah, the Fresno Nightcrawler
my
kind
God.
of
I love it.
showed us just like a still image of the Fresno Nightcrawler, and it was like super cute.
Yeah.
All these animated movies, you got to have that little cute character.
With the big eyes.
Yeah, the Puss in Boots type character.
With the big eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's probably going to be my favorite character, unless you're still listening, Logan. You do Giraffe Possum.
Yeah, you think he might add in the giraffe possum, just maybe as Bigfoot's pet or something? That would be awesome.
I think the Giraffe Possum would have like Ursula's voice from The Little Mermaid.
Jeez. So
I'm brainstorming. Since we've had this conversation, my brain is just.
Well, it sounds like you might want to start doing a movie script of your own or something. You've got all kinds of big ideas.
I'm a big like Disney Pixar fan, so
yeah. Well, I mean,
my imagination is.
I've always loved animation. It's more from the artistic side, but I've always been fascinated with animation, especially really good animation. When they pay a lot of attention to detail, and that sounds like what they're doing with Lunatic Fringe.
I'm an envisioner, I guess you would say, but I can't draw at all. Well, yeah, if you know what I can draw.
Yeah, there are certain people out there who know
my specialty.
Her specialty in drawings.
But hey, you put me in front of a computer and give me shapes and stuff to pull. I can design stuff, but I just can't hand draw.
Yeah, you are. You're good at designing. Yeah. We've talked about that before. You're really good at the feng shuiing of things. Well, I hope everybody out there enjoyed that interview just as much as we did. But before we go, Shade has a few shout outs to give.
Yeah, these were supposed to be on the March 23rd episode, but
wait a minute.
We're pretty sure the Fae has stopped us from talking about them.
Yeah, we should probably talk about that first. So last week, Monday, was supposed to be a new episode. We were going to be talking about the fairy world, the little people of the forest, the Fae. And one thing about the Fae is they're tricksters. So we recorded that episode. Twice.
Not once, but twice.
The first time, it recorded our voices, but it was through the microphone on the computer and not through our soundboard and our good microphones. So you could just barely hear our voices. So we recorded the entire thing again. Hours and hours of recording. The second time, when we went to review the recording,
all the mics were muted.
Everything.
Apps, everything was muted.
Everything was muted. There was no sound at all. Our microphones didn't pick up anything, computer or otherwise.
Our mics were working and our headphones were working. We could hear ourselves, but it just wasn't.
Yeah, it didn't
recording
record
to
them.
The computer.
And yeah, after going through all the settings, we just kept finding random places in the settings where the microphone was muted.
And so specifically Microsoft Edge that we
Yeah.
have to use.
Microsoft Edge is the preferred browser to use for the program we have for podcasts. And after going through all these settings, and it still wasn't working, even though we had unmuted the mic in several spots, it still would not work. And yeah, I ended up looking at the settings for the microphone, like each individual app, and only Microsoft Edge
So
was
weird.
muted. I have no explanation. Nobody had messed with our computer at all since we had used it to record our previous episode and edited everything. We didn't mess with any settings. We didn't mute anything.
It was the Fae.
Could have been.
They don't like to be talked about.
Yeah. And like I said, they're known to be tricksters. I'm not saying that it definitely was, but it is extremely weird. It makes no sense that there were just random spots, random settings in the computer, different places where the microphone was muted. And especially, when you get to the specific app, only that app was muted. And that's the one we use all the time for the podcast. It never would have been muted for any reason. Makes no sense. Very strange occurrence. And it kept us from releasing our episode. So hopefully one day, maybe we'll get in their good graces again and we'll be able to record that episode. So back to where we started, you have some shout outs from Facebook land.
Yes. Some of these are some I promised that we would shout out on the 23rd. So
yeah,
you're finally getting it, but just a few days late, and I'm sorry.
About a week late.
We have Carolina's Unknown, and they are from Wilmington, North Carolina, and they travel through North and South Carolina.
Wilmington is awesome. I visited there several times working.
You can find them on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. And you can also email them at carolinasunknown@mail.com. So you can go give them a follow. Truth Finders Paranormal Exploration and Investigators. And they're located in the northwest of Washington State. Investigation, they do like houses, properties, businesses, haunted items such as dolls and paintings and antiques. And you can just find them on Facebook, contact them there.
They'll just investigate anything.
Mm-hmm. And then we have Southeast Wisconsin Paranormal Investigations, and they are, of course, based out of Wisconsin, and they do investigations to the Midwest. They also have a podcast called Wicked Darkness with Southeast Wisconsin Paranormal Investigation, where they talk about all things paranormal.
Very cool.
And Life After Life Paranormal Investigations. They're located in Salt Lake City, Utah, and they cover Utah, Nevada, Idaho, and soon Colorado, as well as Arizona will be on their list.
Wow.
And you can follow them on Facebook as well.
That's awesome.
And they all do free investigation. Go wasting your money on it if you don't have to.
That's right. You got people willing to come check it out for free because they just want to understand this stuff.
But I mean, give them a free place to sleep and feed them.
Yeah.
It's the Southern way.
Yeah, put them up for the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Southern way of doing things. That's Appalachian hospitality. So I guess we'll get out of here. I want to thank everybody out there once again for listening. All the support has been amazing. And be sure to go check out Logan Webb on Instagram and his project Lunatic Fringe.
He also has a Facebook, Lunatic Fringe, and TikTok.
They have did he mention that?
He didn't.
He did.
But we know.
Should have called him out on it.
Followed us on TikTok. Okay. Follow him in all the places. Really support him because this is going to be totally awesome.
Yeah, just go out there and look for Lunatic Fringe, and you should be able to tell it right away because, it's Bigfoot.
Yeah,
is kind of the main focus.
Let's support this Appalachian boy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another reason I wanted to have him on. He's a local Appalachian guy. He's from right in the Appalachian Mountains, and he's talking about these things, the same things that we talk about on this podcast. A lot of people are starting to talk about all over the place. It's starting to become a more open subject, the very strange and weird, spooky, the paranormal, aliens, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So be sure to support people who are trying to get this stuff out there, wanting to talk about this stuff, wanting to explore this stuff and understand it better. And I think that's where Mr. Webb is going with this project.
And if you attend Bigfoot festivals, there's a possibility he's going to be there.
Yeah, keep an eye
Go
out for him at Bigfoot festivals.
Go check his booth out.
Yeah. And don't forget to go check out Lunatic Fringe and all the other projects that Logan Webb has worked on loganwebbanimation.com. And as always, be sure to come back and listen to the next exciting episode of Appalachia Not So Quiet. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, YouTube,
TikTok, Facebook.
and X sometimes.
We're not really big on X.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
We don't do a lot of that. And don't forget about our website, notsoquiet.com. And be sure to check out all of our content. We'll be posting up some stuff about Logan on our TikTok and Facebook and things. And go check out Not Heads merch store. Get you some merch. We got some cool cryptid themed shirts and, of course, shirts with the Appalachia Not So Quiet logo and things of that nature. So, yeah, go pick you up some merch. Thank you all once again. Thank you to Logan Webb. And I am your host, Hillbilly Phantom.
And I'm Appalachian Shape.
And we'll catch you on the next one. Till then, watch out for them boogers.